Hi, I'm Josh Ellsworth with Stalls TV, and welcome to this installment of 7 markets you should be selling to. One market that you can reach in your local area or even at a national level are dance schools and studios. There are thousands of independently owned studios with many distinct apparel sales opportunities. So I think this is one niche that is profitable, but you have to have the right plan. Before you can start selling, we need to understand who we're selling to. And I always like to start there. And particularly with dance studios, they're independently owned, and often you'll find they're owned by a former dancer. Many of these studios share the same challenges in that the dance school owner doesn't have enough time to basically worry about apparel and changing vendors. Next, they typically are always concerned about money and staying cash flow positive so they can keep the dance school open and the studio doors open. But perhaps most importantly is developing a reputation, because this leads to longevity of their dance school being open, and really with the right reputation and a successful brand, it leads to enrollment. So when you start to think about those 3 goals, you start to dive into a dance school owner's job and what they need to deal with. So number 1 is they need to collect registration money and sign dancers up. Of course, they need to do things like choreograph dancers, hire and manage staff, provide dance instruction, maintain attendance, enroll and take students to competitions. And then they also need to do things like coordinate photography. And this is another instance where they work with an outside vendor to come in and shoot photography in a money-making opportunity. They need to plan and execute a dance recital. Typically, a studio has a recital at the end of the year. Through all of this, they need to make sure they stay cash flow positive, as we mentioned earlier. And then a mention is they have to deal with parents. When you start to look at dance schools and the notorious dance moms, you know that that's a job of a dance school owner, is to manage parents and their opinions and what's happening at the dance school. So basically the sum of all this is that they're very busy. They're always thinking about what they need to be accomplishing, and last on the list is probably buying apparel. So you need to really form a plan that you can break through and sell to them, and consider a strategy that's bigger than taking your normal catalog or your everyday t-shirt that you sell to a local business to a dance school. It's just not going to resonate with them. You need to think about the apparel and match it to their brand goals in a way that they can make profit to stay cash flow positive with little work on their part to free up their time, which of course is going to require more work by you. So let's start by talking about matching apparel to their brand goals. So as you might imagine, dance school owners and dance schools in general are very on point with what's trending and popular. So I'd recommend sourcing the latest styles from suppliers such as Boxercraft, Cavio, Bella Canvas, Sanmar, to name a few, and make sure you coordinate logos and apparel styles in their colors. So a lace-back tank or a pom-pom jersey, a nice super soft tri-blend t-shirt is going to be better for your sales call than something like a unisex tee, just going in and going through the motions. And of course you want to make sure that you can have garments that you can present to dancers of all ages and sizes, because this runs from little girls up to juniors and in some cases ladies apparel. Next, you want to make sure when you think about what designs you're going to present, you take a look at what's happening at retail. Typically, the high school market and even the elementary market is all a trickle-down effect from the collegiate market and major brands. So look for inspiration from things like the Victoria's Secret Pink collection would be a great place to start. The dance school's name is always popular, and then of course dance school sayings like "my dance season never ends" or "don't sweat, sparkle," or just cute things that you can consider taking in that can be a printed sample that will translate across many different sales calls. Now when you start to talk about colors, you may think pink is it, but it's really not. Pink tends to be popular with the younger girls, but when you go up into the juniors market, neutrals, black, charcoal, white, they tend to be the more popular colors that are selling. Now, when you start talking about how the studio owner can make money if they like your look, you need to really model out a profit potential for them so they can really see the advantage of doing business with you. This means extending one price on apparel to the studio and allowing the studio to then mark it up to parents and students. Once you are actually able to land the account, the idea that they'll be behind the sale and behind the items that you'll be selling and promoting them by making profit, this will encourage them to get it sort of front of mind and share it on the Facebook page through flyers in the studio and whatnot. Another just add-on tip is to allow the adding of names on the back of a t-shirt or a decorated design. These are profitable placements that are very popular in dance studios. Now, of course, if you're going to make profit and also allow the dance owner and studio to make profit, you need to make sure the item has a higher perceived value. So we already talked about that a little bit with as far as the blank apparel, but make sure that you're working with glitter finishes or higher end finishes that are going to deliver a higher perceived value and sort of matching designs with what's trending. Now next, once you have something that matches to their look, you need to think about the hands-off approach that you can deliver. So doing something like establishing an online store if that's easier so they don't have to manage orders. Doing something like printing the flyers so they can hang in the studio, creating the order form so that the sale is easily managed by the office manager in the dance studio. So basically a hands-on approach and more work on your part is going to make a big difference. Also, little simple things like bagging the orders individually for dancers once the sale concludes, that's going to make a big difference to having a hands-off, easy approach. So with these things in mind, start to think about all the sales opportunities. You have things like a registration tee that happens at the beginning of the dance year. You often can launch a sale of several items for leading up to holidays and Christmas time, so dance parents can buy something for the dancer. It's a great time to incentivize people to purchase and make a successful sale. You also have opportunities like the actual tracksuits that most dance studio dancers wear to competition and even beyond competition. So tracksuits are a great profit opportunity for you to launch as a singular sales item throughout the year. And then of course everything culminates at the dance recital at the end of the year. So being a heat printer, you have the opportunity to do event printing with your heat press and designs and perhaps a vinyl cutter to do some things on demand. So being able to offer that extra benefit of coming on site and making the recital a better and a greater experience to help increase their reputation and brand is going to go a long way to being able to grow your business and land more sales with dance studios. So once again, as you start to think about selling to this market of dance school studios and owners, it should be very easy to find customers. Just go out on Google or whatever search engine or the local Yellow Pages and think about if you were going to enroll at a dance school and search for them in that way. Build up your prospect list and then create relevant samples with the right marketing materials to go out and sell to them. Making sure that you don't take the business in a one-size-fits-all approach, but you curb your samples to have some relevance in a way that shows their colors on fashionable styles that they're going to be more apt to respond to and ultimately give you a shot as a supplier. Good luck making dance schools and studios a market that you can reach.